Good morning. How is everyone going? I thought I'd do episode 511 with just a little update of what I've been doing behind the scenes. So I went out to visit a lovely lady, and she lives I say it was about a 35 or 6 minute drive, so not too far. It's just before Wood End and in the Macedon Ranges. So a lovely, so Sam showed me her studio, which was fabulous. And I took out a whole heap of indigo dyeing because she's predominantly a painter and doesn't work with material. So I thought I would just share some of my indigo dye bits and pieces that I did. So excuse my fingers. I have got a video I'll link below of when I did the indigo dyeing last time. So I've collected up, these ones were with a elastic band. I think that my indigo dye was getting a bit old, so I didn't get as much of a response as I would have liked. So some of it didn't really mix through, but it's made a lot of interest and contrast with little dark bits and pale bits. So as I said, this had an elastic band round, so it's just not as dark as it could be. Some are. However, there are some gorgeous shades. And of course, with my Roxy's Journal of Stitchery book, the winter journal, I used a lot of my previous batch. I will make up a couple of packs and put them in little bits like this. They've just got the blue tinge. Sam loved the cheesecloth. You can see a little bit of the patterning through it. We're going to have it'll be interesting to see actually what I gifted her a bit of the cheesecloth, a bit of this embroidery, because that's just come up such a gorgeous colour, and gifted her a bit, like a bit like this. I'm just looking forward to seeing what she does with them in her paintings. So I'll share that when she does it. So this one was tie-dyed by doing this and then folding in half and wrapping in with elastic band. So some of these have got quite a good definition of the different colours. I just thought I'd try what happened with the quilt, just so see what happens. What I love is the fact that the batting is this just gorgeous colour. So I think I might pick these apart a bit. But that's this was an old baby's quilt that I found at the op shop for a couple of dollars. So I've still got some scraps of it left. This side had a dog, so I don't use that side very often, but I do like the little Winnie the Pooh bits. I didn't tie-dye them or anything, I just plopped them in and swished them around. A bit of lace. I put in quite a bit of this lace, so things like this lace will end up in a few packs in the Etsy store. Some of this will go in the Etsy. And the other interesting thing is you don't know. I know that the indigo was getting a bit old, but it's still got the blue tinge. It hasn't taken as well, but this could have already, because this came from someone else and she'd glued some things, it could have had a bit of glue on and then not necessarily worked very well in terms of the dyeing. But it's a very, it's a very beigey blue, this one. Still, it still works in with the colour palette if you wanted to make a piece that all came in this colour palette, that so they supported each other, as it were. Now this is the old bed sheet that I still have lots of from Huss, and it hasn't quite worked out as well on all of them, but there are some little bits that I just love. Sam and I were just like, oh, this, how good is it? Oh, it's so good. So you just don't know what you get. Beautiful. Right, so I just did do some plain bits just so there's those fillers, those background fillers. beautiful. Just so I've done a few more downstairs, and this one came out quite dark. So I don't know why some, you know, in the same batch. Look at the difference in the colour. I definitely feel that my Indigo Dye powder was a bit old now, and so maybe doesn't work so well. Even this one, it's like, it's not as dark as I'd like, and I did dip a few things twice, because they say that with the indigo you just oxidise it, dip it, oxidise it, dip it, but I haven't found that I've got them any darker, so I'm going to call it that my powder is a little bit light, or a little bit just gone, it's finished. See this beautiful, I really love this batting on the inside, so a couple of little bit of quilty edgy bits. I tried just a little portion of, remember I got this Hessian sack from Lisa from France, an old antique Hessian. It doesn't seem to have taken the colour very well, but what I like is it's become more loose and, you know, like worn and tasselled, so that still will come in handy. This was very white, with a very white flower and the green leaves, and I'm pleased to say that the green leaves are still there, the green thread is still there, but all the whites have become blue. This was a little, I think these were like, you know, napkins. You might put something through there and have it rolled up as a napkin at your table setting. But I love that. That's definitely going to be used somewhere. Right, so these are some of the ones. I tried a bit of this old tea towel or a tablecloth. Didn't really take the colour too well, and that definitely the tanny yellows and browns have sort of stayed the same. However, as one bit with not a lot of brown on like that, the blue in the background is still going to work. I just probably would not use ones like this that haven't really worked. I'll use them in something, just might put some of those bits in the pack. They're still valid. When I was unpacking this lot from my friend Louise, I felt that this was incredibly stiff, and I wasn't sure if it was a bit more of a plastic, but I think they'd just been really hard, a hard starch, you know, really very stiff. This is still feeling quite stiff. It's a lot softer now that it's been washed. But once again, when it's this sort of colour, you know, maybe a couple of passes, but for now, it's not as what I would be happy about. Not bad though. I'm not saying it's wrong or bad. I'm just saying it's not quite... If you think indigo dye, you often think a lot darker. So it could have just been conditions, probably is the powder. But you know, you've still got these little edges which are gorgeous. These little ones. So I might get a new bit of powder and do another lot. This was an old tea towel. No, this was an old tablecloth, and I've said the story with this before. That I got this from a lady whose mum had died, and the lady was my age, so her mum would have been probably in her 80s or 90s, and she was the seamstress for the local area, my local area, and she had this lady that sold it had just said to me how much she just, if she saw it, she remembered sitting having little picnics as a little girl with her mum with this. So I thought I'd give that a go. I'm actually happy with that. I know you can see a bit of the white where I've had it folded to see if I can get contrast. Not as contrasty as I would like, but interesting nevertheless. It's always interesting to see what happens with the stitching, but you know, I can still see that that's pink and that's green. They haven't really changed too much. All right, so that just didn't take. It's a lot lighter, the batting. You can tell that it's been done because of the batting, but it just would be the colour fastness of the material maybe didn't take it. So I've got some more of these. So I think that definitely I've got quite a few of these. They'll go in a pack. I'll cut them down. They won't be very big packs because I haven't got a lot, and I haven't, now that I've run out, I'm not going to be doing more. But not till I get the next lot anyway. Both Sam and I looked at this one, or this one maybe. This one was instantly a hit. Like, it's got the difference, it's got the interest, and it's a solid piece. So this is inspiring me to make a kind of a boro, B-O-R-O, the Japanese mending and putting things together, inspired kind of piece. So these ones in particular, I'm absolutely loving for their variety and the edging. Just gorgeous. I don't know, the light might be a bit bright from over from the window. Don't know if you can see these. Very delicate. The last lot I did wasn't as delicate. There were delicate colours like this, but the tie-dye aspect of it and the pegging and the folding and clipping and stuff seemed to have a much better contrast. However, I still love these very delicate periwinkle blue kind of colours. Just gorgeous. So this was what I was doing, and it was really nice. Go out, have a nice wood fire. There's a couple of pictures on Instagram of these hanging up in the fire, near the fire, to dry, and quite interesting because she shares her big studio with her partner, and he's a jeweller, so they've sort of divided it into his jewellery section and her painting section, and it was just so nice. And he'd made special little profiteroles, made them all by hand, made the custard, made the chocolate on the top. Very nice. It was a lovely day. So I'm continuing. This is what I'm doing. I'm continuing on going out and meeting people. That's what I'm doing and loving. Now, I think this was too dark to take this colour, so I'm just not thinking that this... I know I've dyed it, but I'm not thinking it's a success in terms of it looking blue. However, it's still done. It still blends in, because if you look at colour harmony in painting, where you add a little bit of each colour to make your new colours, that creates a colour harmony. So these still work. They work together. Look at that. Beautiful. Just a couple of little scraps. This was white, and I thought I'd see how the wool came out. That's taken it quite well. Scrappy bits. That's going to be fun, putting that in. Might go with my treasures, even though it's not a sort of a yellow. It'll still blend in, I'm sure. Right, so that's them. I just want to show, before we start our next Roxy's, I thought, what else am I doing? I tie-dyed one of the panels from this Devonstone collection, which I showed in one of the previous ones, and there's just all these panels, and I love this little one with the rabbit and the alphabet on. So I thought I'll just dye one little bit on this beautiful, such a soft linen. It's just gorgeous. Allen Hare Hollow. That's it. And the panel had, I guess, about maybe 10 different designs all on one. So decided I wanted to do a lot of like whites. This is a bit of a champagne colour that I'm doing, and I just decided I'm going to go around and do chain stitch around the rabbit. And I'll probably bring in maybe some colours for these and the leaves that blend in with the blue and the white or champagne. Possibly a bit of really pure white for the letters. So that's what I've started in the background. And I don't know if you saw my little very quick video for Tina, for Shabby Dabby Doodah, when I was making the clusters. But if you saw the flip through of the book, these are the little pressed flowers that I found. That antique book came from my mum. It was on a bookshelf. And these little pressed flowers were inside. Aren't they cute? Isn't it amazing? Because you never know how old they are. So I think I'll use them in a junk journal. Just kept them there. They're a bit fragile, but probably put a little bit of Mod Podge over them and then they'll be fine. So that's all for this episode 511. I haven't started, oh yes I have. I have got my mermaid pattern nearly ready and I'll be starting that soon. I'm still working on a few little bits, just refining it. Just refining some of the details, and it will be a new project that anyone can join in if they want. I'll stick the pattern in the Etsy store, and it will be, there's a really large one, so a really, really large. So she's the mother, and then there's a teenager, and then there's a child. So it's 3, and the idea of it is ducks on the wall. So I don't know if anyone, has any knowledge of the flying ducks on the wall, which is kind of an Australian thing. I don't know if it's anywhere else in the rest of the world, but it's definitely an Australian thing. So it'll be 3 mermaids on the wall. So I'm looking forward to getting more of that underway. And I'm going to go off and do some stitching, and I hope you have a good day. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.